A lot of people are now coming to the realization or asking themselves the same question: is it time for me to leave the United States? For me, I realized this a while ago, 7 years ago, in fact, after I had an email answered by a very famous historian, Timothy Snyder, when I impulsively emailed to his academic work account a long essay after I finished reading his book, Black Earth and the Road to Unfreedom, how I thought the US was heading towards fascism, that everything was going to be bleak, and I see all these like pre-fascist formations happening, and is this what's do you think this too? Like, is this what's going down? And he responded several months later, in fact, with a message that basically was, yeah, I read your email and I didn't know how to respond to it, and it's been kicking around my head a while, but obviously, yeah, you were right. Like, this is all happening. That made me really pushed. It pushed me to think, I gotta go. I gotta go. So what I did was I started going on LinkedIn and to all the job websites, and I just set my job parameter locations to London, Berlin, Amsterdam, Paris, basically every major European capital, and looked for jobs that were in English. And I just looked and looked and looked and applied and applied and applied. And eventually I got something. And I got really lucky and I was able to get the company to pay a little bit of money towards my relocation. And that's how I was able to get over. This is a point I should mention, is that if you are eligible to be a dual citizen, and depending on what your family heritage is, you might be able to still claim it a couple of generations down. You want to apply for that immediately, because just in case, it is always better to have a second passport. And on that point, Americans, most of you do not have a passport at all. You need to get one right now, because you need one of those to leave the country while you're still able to legally leave. So I had this new job, and now I lived in a new country. And this was really difficult. This was a hard thing. And the thing I would advise every single person to do once you move to a new country is you need to join a lot of local community organizations and political organizations, because this taps you immediately in to the lifeblood of the community, all the people that are out there doing things, and you will be there and you will immediately become absorbed into the world around you. The thing that is easiest to do when you move to a new place is to isolate yourself, especially if you're moving to a country that you don't speak the language properly. It is super, super easy to make yourself locked in your house like you're on your own personal lockdown. And that is very, very, very bad. You need to start getting out there immediately, make friends, join groups, start working on your language skills, because you can build a new community, a new place anywhere in the world. I firmly believe that. I've moved countries a few times. I don't come from a rich family. I literally sold all of my stuff to be able to afford to move over. And I've done that twice. It's really important to understand that you can move, it is possible. And if you feel like there is danger now, you are right. You should leave. I saw where the US was going about 7 years ago, and I made the move. And I am very, very happy about the decision I made. It is terrifying to see what's happening in the US, but it has only reaffirmed the choice to leave is what has kept me safe, especially as I've continued upon my political work, something that is being rapidly criminalized in the United States. How people survived the last fascist wave in Europe. The people that survived mostly the Holocaust and Nazi Germany and fascist Italy and all of the horrors that happened were those who fled across the ocean, who left to find themselves in the UK or the US or any number of other countries around the world, because we often forget that people left to all over. Those people survived the war. Many of those people also ended up being the ones to help rebuild after the fascist period. Those who remained often died, and that's the reality of it. So if you are able to leave, I highly advise you to leave. It will deprive the regime of your intelligence and labor and skills and weaken it just so much, but your safety is paramount. You can't fight to overthrow the regime if you are no longer there anymore because you've been disappeared off to a prison camp in El Salvador. That is what's happening right now. And if you're a group that's already being targeted, why would you stay right now? Unless you have the absolute iron to do whatever it takes to survive in the US and through a fascist period, through something that could be akin to what happened in Germany, please make the right choice. Start looking for jobs, applying for residencies, trying to get out. Figure out all the exits you can create because soon you might not be able to. Soon you might not have time. Soon you might have a knock at the door. So take away that there are other amazing places in the world. It won't be home. It never will be. But it can be a new home, a second home, a place that you choose to make your life and live, one that could be even more beautiful than anything you had before, which is thankfully what happened to me. Finding friends and family, marriage, love, happiness, fulfillment, and knowing that most likely I will have a future, just like my ancestors that had to flee before had a future. Because those who flee often are the ones that survive. And I would like you to survive. Now, my position isn't the only one. You can also go over to the It Could Happen Here podcast and hear a very different take on this. I think they're both valid, but at the end of the day, I know which one I took, and that's all I can really speak to in this horrible occasion. And if you could do me a big favor, give some engagement, repost, do all the stuff, because for some reason the algorithm is really not liking me this week.